Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the report from Tiger Mountain. We're here with David Thrussell at an undisclosed location. It is June 2024 and we're going to talk shit, so stick around and listen. Now, I've got an important announcement here. Obviously, if you're fans of Jacinta Allen, you've wanted to meet who the new Minister for Men's Change, Behaviour Change is. I'm here with him right now, Mr. David Thrussell.
That's right.
This, now, your new portfolio, how you set about changing the behaviour of men? Go.
All right, okay, so I'm going to pull out a quote from one of my role models in life, okay, and that's Kerry Packer, okay?
Right.
And if Kerry's not a role model of yours, you need to really rethink things. Anyway, I have it on good authority. This is a story that I heard from inside the Murdoch camp.
Yes.
Okay.
Team Murdoch.
Yep. And they, I have it on good authority that they didn't like the Packers. That there was some rivalry involved.
Yeah, I heard that.
Anyway, so you know, you probably know, or some of you will know, that Kerry apparently died a couple of times. Okay?
Oh yeah.
You know, and he had a bad ticker and whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and he died a couple of times. And apparently one time he died for an extended period of time.
Yep.
And they brought him back to life after like 10 minutes or some really long period of time, right? And later on, his son, the Archduke James,
James.
shining light,
James Packer,
that paragon of goodwill,
paragon of
humanity,
goodwill, yes.
he asked the old man, he said, so you technically died. What was there? What happens, after you die, And Kerry, apparently, I have it on good authority, said, there's nothing there, do whatever the fuck you want.
Really?
Okay? Yeah. So I'm going to take a leaf out of Kerry's book. That's my advice.
Yes,
As Minister for Men's Behavioural Change.
Yeah, that's it. Your new portfolio.
Can I deputise you, Richard,
yes.
as the Minister for Women's Behavioural Change?
Thank you very much. Look,
yes.
I accept.
Great. That's very gracious of you.
Can I give you a new name?
No, a lot of people don't realise. I mean, the Wollstonecroft name, of course, is illustrious, of course.
Mary Wollstonecraft.
Yeah, of course.
Mary
But a lot of people don't know that the other half of your fan is the Stepford clan.
That's it.
Of course,
Stepford, yes.
Yeah, so you come from also a long line of noble Stepfords.
I would like to change. I'd like to call the minister. I'd like to be the Minister for Crazy Women's Behaviour. So that way, all the crazy women are going to try and change their behaviour, which is a quixotic task if ever there was one. So that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a load of bullshit. And what's going on in June? Well, we've got Israel going crazy, mate. What do you think about that, mate? Now, what was that video you were telling me about? Tell me about that again.
Well, somebody sent me a video. It's very unpleasant. I don't recommend you watch it. Somebody sent me a video, which I did watch. I generally don't watch these things because I find them too distressing. But I did watch this one where the IDF bombed an apartment block in Gaza into the ground, into Gaza basically. There were scattered survivors in the rubble. Yep. The IDF came in with speakers and were playing the sound of a baby in distress to draw Palestinians, Gazans, out of the rubble, and then they had snipers to pick them off as they emerged from the rubble, trying to locate the sound of this baby in distress to render assistance.
Now that sounds like genocide to me, mate, and that's all caught on tape. And that sounds like something that even the Nazis would do, mate. And, in fact, they didn't do anything like that. So how is Israel able to get away with essentially, they've blown up hospitals, they've said to congregate at a certain place for aid, and then blown those people up? How are they able to get away with this? There's no way Putin could do that in Kyiv without having all of Europe, basically pour into Ukraine. How are they able to do that? And yet still America is funding, and most of our Western countries are still sending weapons to Israel.
Well, that's a question that I would like to handball to our dear friends on the left.
How is that?
And ask them, how is that
Claim
possible?
forward, I know you're a fan of the show. And
I'd also like to handball it to people like, for example, the Australian Labor Party, who are ostensibly the government of this
left.
country at the moment, ostensibly.
Technically, they are against what's going on a technical level.
They have a long history of being somewhat vocal in the pro-Palestinian department.
They have been, yes.
And yet, they assume government, and yet they go very straight.
They go silent. Why is it? How could it be?
Oh, it's a riddle.
How could it be
yes.
that Israel And the Jewish lobby are able to get away with this, mate. It's very strange. I don't know. So,
I
and
don't
also,
have any answers, but I'm all ears.
maybe we'll best left that one here, right, just on the top of this little mushroom, and get on to the arrest of Donald Trump. Well, he's been arrested before. He's been charged. Now he's been convicted.
That's funny, doesn't it?
He's been convicted.
Yes.
So, what do you think of the conviction? And will they jail him? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I've got a number of thoughts. Okay, I do think obviously it appears to me as a layperson to be a flagrant miscarriage of justice and politically motivated, and the kind of thing that you see in Banana Republic.
It's lawfare. Yeah.
It's Banana Republic behaviour. Okay, I get that, but also I'm going to really come strongly out of my closet now.
Yep.
And I was having a conversation with an intelligent chap, a friend of mine in the States the other day, and he said something which I thought was very interesting. He's a fan of the wrestling, you know, the wrestling on the TV.
Yeah.
Bang each other the ground and stuff. I never really watched that stuff, but I probably should have, you know. And he said, "Oh look, Donald Trump is obviously the heel. This is the term he used, the heel."
Yeah.
Okay, and so apparently, as I said, I wasn't a wrestling fan, but I probably should have been. But the heel is like the over the top created villain. The caricature of the comic bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, who's there because half the crowd will instantly hate him, and the other half of the crowd will instantly love him. Because he's the heel, and that plays out to all
the underdog.
It plays out to all sorts of emotional resonances.
So you think you're seeing a kind of a wrestling style? So you would say that Trump is probably controlled opposition, at least in part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I have to agree with my friend, and I don't know if he wants to be identified or not. So
identify him.
No, if he's smart, he won't want to be. But I would credit him otherwise. But yeah, the term he used was the heel, and it's all starting to look like wrestling, pro wrestling to me. I mean, I do think, allow me some cynicism for a moment.
Yeah, sure.
That leading up to this election that's coming up in the States. They need, people had lost interest in Trump. I mean, he'd lost the heat. And they need to get a bit of heat back on him.
The heat's back.
To generate this divide in society and to have some interest in their
now, the media has sort of
fake election.
The media is kind of predicted that Trump might get in. Do you think that's possible?
I think whoever controls the election will decide to put in place whatever person suits them best.
So it's a bit like Stalin said, it's not who casts the vote, it's who counts them.
I think it is.
Uncle Joe had a few wisdoms there.
Yes. In his own inimitable way.
That's I don't want to praise him too much on the report from Tiger Mountain, but yes, Uncle Joe did have a couple of good things.
He might have been on
that observation, and he did get rid of Trotsky. Which in anyone's book is a positive result. Is a positive. As many Bolsheviks as he could get rid of. Unfortunately, he himself was a Bolshevik. But anyway, we don't need to get into that.
Yes.
It's another can of worms altogether. What else is going on?
No. I think it's an interesting topic. I do think, and I think I've said this before on Report from Tiger Mountain, but my default position is I do view these elections as kind of a cult theatre. And I think this Trump thing is a way of generating interest and energy and harvesting people's interest and energy around one of these fake elections. Because I think otherwise they were possibly going to have a very boring fake election that no one was really interested in.
My opinion is
it's all fake.
Is that it is real, that they do control Trump to some extent. So if for example, when he did get in, they still had their man there, Kushner, who was the Zionist guy who set up the what's it called, the Abraham Accords and things. See, they did have somebody there anyway, just in case as a backup plan. But to me, Trump is a real fly in the ointment, whatever, and that he is some kind of existential threat to these people. And yet, even if he were to get in a second term, I imagine he would do something to upset them. But his ability to cast off the deep state or whatever, I think is delusional. He claims he's able to do things like that. He talks about drowning the swamp and stuff, but it seems from his first...
It didn't happen.
No, exactly, it didn't. And, he talks about releasing the Epstein files. He talks about, he recently said that he would do all that. He released the full JFK. But, he had the opportunity to do that the first time, and we didn't get it. So, it's very strange. So, but I am to some extent...
it's looking a bit like a bad sequel to me right now, like the whole thing, I mean,
Well, Joe's looking...
Biden's an international embarrassment.
Some of the media are turning on the Trump side, which is interesting. You know, you've noticed that, you know?
Well, they must have got a call from headquarters.
Yeah, got a call from headquarters.
You know,
So what else is going on in the world?
I think it's...
How's everything up here, mate? How's everything with you?
Cold. Very cold.
Now, global warming, mate, what's going on? I thought we'd have some lovely, nice days.
I've been investing in global warming, and I have to say the returns are very poor at this stage. You know? It's freaking freezing up here.
-2, you were saying?
-3 or 4.
At night, there you go.
Yep.
David could use some global warming, mate. If anyone's got any spare,
please.
Maybe over in Thailand or one of those countries in Southeast Asia, if you've got the warm weather, send it over here.
Please, we're begging you. It's freezing.
Anything else you want to touch on there, like Jeffrey Epstein, you know?
No, I certainly don't want to touch on Jeffrey Epstein, okay? I don't want to go nowhere near that guy. No.
So it's interesting the way he was connected to what, I mean, do people who hate, what's going on with the Palestinians, do they make the connection that, Jeffrey Epstein was kind of a Mossad agent who blackmails Western politicians and Western celebrities to support Israel and to support...
That's fake news.
No, but like that...
That's disinformation.
Do they make that connection, David?
I'm going to get hold of the Minister for Men's Behaviour Change,
That's
and you're going to be in a lot of trouble, okay?
Right, hang on.
Have we wired up that chair yet?
As the Minister for Female Behaviour Change, I'm going to go for Talker Dickens and get her onto you. So there we go. That is the report for Tiger Mountain. Just a quick 10 minutes, because we've got a few things going on today. And but we're back. We're still here. We're still causing trouble. And, we are the last, 2 free men in Western civilization. Or at least we like to romanticise it that way, don't we?
Yeah, and it's not long now.
No, not long now. In comes the drone strike.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys.